And it's just like you said, don't be cocky, but you don't want to be cocky anywhere.
Well,
we like confidence, but not.
Yeah, there's a correct way. There's a correct way to do cocky, and it's and here's the thing: when a woman says, just like you just described, like when a woman says cocky, is in this way, like is in you don't want to come across as cocky, we don't like it. She's not referring to her definition of cocky is different to what a man's definition of cocky would be. A man's definition of cocky is the guy who comes in and says something witty and funny, but maybe slightly.
That's like a man with swagger,
teasing in a certain way, right? Like
cocky is just arrogant.
Yeah, the way that a woman describes cocky is this like it's almost like baseless self-confidence.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you're coming across as overly self-confident, and there's no feasible way for you to be backing that up. And your body language is probably betraying you as well. It's probably no joke. It's probably you're saying something and you're coming across as like, oh, I'm the shit, but your eye contact is off, or you've got nervous body language, or your hands are sort of shaky.
And trust me, you guys all out there that think you're all that. When women get into the MILF stage, and even more so when they get into
MILF stage,
the cougar stage.
Which one are you at? Are you at MILF stage or cougar stage?
Technically, I mean, if you want to go labels, yeah, I'm in the cougar right now. But it's great because I probably am, because MILFs are still kind of finding their own. They're that age. They're the moms. They're still really sexy. The cougars are the women that finally have their own sense of self. And they don't care to go after anything that they see that they want, but we're very, very good at reading you and knowing if you are worthy of our time. So
the difference between a MILF and a cougar is really just
aggression and self-assurance.
A cougar is actually doing the pursuing.
Yeah.
A cougar is actually actively going out and like trying to get young bucks.
Like, I really don't do that. but
you get cast that way.
I do.
You definitely get cast that way.
Oh, well, that's all I've gotten. Yeah.
So let's pivot. Let's pivot away from the whole BDSM thing to your career as a MILF. So you got into porn already as a MILF.
Yeah.
I
was already, just age-wise, I was already
literally age-wise, and obviously because the MILF isn't. Here's the thing with MILF. MILF isn't in pornography. MILF isn't just an age thing. It's a look as well. Mm-hmm. It's like your body.
It is now. It didn't used to be.
Oh, really?
Back in the day.
It was purely an age thing.
Generally, yeah, because you had your teens and like your early 20s that could still play a teen. And then unfortunately you had those women that were considered tweens that were that late 20s that would never get booked.
Like uncastable age.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you get into your 30s, and then all of a sudden you're in that MILF.
Yeah.
40s, you're in the cougar. So
because I know
but
girls,
it's not that way anymore.
No, because I know girls who are 25 in this industry who get cast as a MILF.
Yeah,
because they have a look, and the look is kind of your body shape. It's like the curvy hips, thicker thighs, big booty. And
well, it's because when you have kids, you kind of spread out a little bit.
Well, it's the childbearing hips look.
Yes,
is what it is.
Yeah, that's what these are.
What a goddamn shame.
But I had those when I was 18, even long before I had kids. So I mean,
Exactly. So yeah, these days girls, and that's definitely been my experience. Girls will get cast as a MILF. Kind of irregardless, as long as they're like 25 plus.
And there's probably something to that because here I'm, 18, 19, 20, right? And minus the boobs, but I had the tiny waist, I had the hips. And everyone always perceived me as being older. I mean, even growing up as a teenager, and I know a lot of that is my personality.
A mature personality.
I do have a very mature personality. So that kind of came out. So in through my 20s, everybody thought I was older than I actually was. And now that I'm older, everybody thinks that I'm younger. So I don't.
You just stayed the same age the whole time.
When I turned 40, I actually started counting backwards every birthday.
There you go. That's just cheating.
So, age is a number. It doesn't mean anything.
I stopped counting my age at 25. No God, no joke. I literally every year it came to my birthday. I was like, I had to sit down and do the math. Like, how old am I?
Yeah, and I've done that too.
I stopped counting.
And I'm like, because you don't. It's like you kind of, and I don't really celebrate my birthday, so it's just kind of one of those things where someone will ask you, and you're kind of go, oh.
How old am I? Yeah.
And you have to go, okay, 69, 72. You start pulling out the fingers and adding. It's like, oh.
So as a MILF, you tend to get cast a lot with.
I've always been cast in that seducer.
Because that's the thing. That's the thing. The MILF is 9 times out of 10 in our industry is the one doing the actual seducing.
Yeah.
Like the cougar we just talked about. And you would obviously be getting cast with a lot of these guys who look like they could be 16 years old, if I'm being perfectly honest. Some of the dudes I've seen you work with. Yeah,
they do look young. Actually, the girls look younger.
The girls look even younger.
But
there's definitely a market now for some reason for the young, like think Geordie. You know who Geordie is, right? Think of Geordie's body type, like the short, scrawny dude who looks like he could be a teenager.
There's Juan, there's Ricky.
Yeah, Juan, Ricky,
Alex.
Jet. Yeah. Yep. All these guys. And Alex Jet's like not that far off my age.
No, he's older.
He's like,
but he pulls off the young. I mean, he really does. He's got the baby face. He's got the skinny, the smaller frame.
Yeah. So that you look almost physically intimidating compared to him. It's kind of it's supposed to be like the visual image.
I'll say my normal persona, I do tend to intimidate anyway.
I don't find you intimidating, Siren. You're fantastic.
Thank you. But see, you also met me as a submissive.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
But the young guy, the young guys are cool, and it's kind of back to what I say is age is just a number.
But how do you feel being in that situation, like being cast in those roles all the time, where you?
It was just natural for me, and I
when you were hosting your own private gangbangs. Would you often, because you would obviously, like you said, you interviewed and picked guys. Would you back then, were you picking guys who were, say, more mature in their 30s, or were you picking guys who were like 18?
I wasn't actually picking the guys.
Oh, your partner was picking the guys. Huh. Who was he picking then?
We actually had a wide range, but more to our age, actually.
So skewed more towards mature.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then I get into porn, and I'm all with, 19, 20, 25-year-olds.
Do you prefer working with younger talent versus older talent?
And you can't compare the two. They're two completely different.
It's like apples and oranges.
Yeah. The younger guys have.
Yeah. In what way are they different?
The younger guys are full of stamina, lots of energy. They're quirky. They're silly.
Nathan Bronson springs to mind right now.
And his naked swimming.
Quirky. And Robbie Echo springs to mind as well. Talk about quirky. Right. Robbie's going to be on the show.
Yeah. So, they kind of remind you of your inner child.
Huh.
But they can bring the sex.
They've got all that energy. Yeah.
They've got all the energy. They can fuck you hard. They can, they just got their like little bunnies that just
the Energizer bunny.
Yeah. And then you get into the older guys, and they'll still have the stamina, but now they have experience behind it. They have technique behind it. So you're kind of replacing the energy with technique.
Huh. Replacing maybe the enthusiasm with technique.
That too.
Right?
I don't know, because there's some older guys that are enthusiastic. But no, not the young guys.
It's a different kind of like maybe enthusiasm is the wrong word. Maybe it's like
enthusiasm to excitement.
Yeah, almost like an eagerness to please.
With the
younger guys.
Sometimes, because this is where cocky comes in. Or they're shy. They're it's like, can I is it okay?
Is it okay to touch you?
Can I touch you?
Okay. That's an interesting point you just raised, because I had this conversation with when I worked with Francesca Lee.
Yeah, okay. I love her.
And she said something very interesting. She said that exactly. She said these younger dudes in porn are very hesitant to touch you before the camera starts rolling.
Yeah.
And I said to her that day, and I'll say this to you now, I think that's because of the whole MeToo thing.
Oh, absolutely.
This entire all these young men, even in
Yeah.
porn.
Yeah.
Even dudes who work in
it's because
porn.
it's rolled into our industry.
Oh, absolutely. It's completely part of our industry. So they're very reluctant to do anything to the girl.
Well,
not all of them, not all of them,
even
but
just
some of them.
their experience.
Yeah.
You know, and
in their
here
private life
they're
experience, you mean.
thrown into someone who can be twice their age.
True.
It's a daunting
mindset.
Yeah.
Mindfuck. I'd actually
Mind fuck is kind of what it can happen.
To be perfectly honest, I feel, from my experience, I feel way more like the threat of a MeToo is far more likely with a younger girl than with an older woman.
Absolutely.
Far more likely.
It's like those of us, and I'm going to stereotype a bit.
Go ahead, stereotype away.
The younger girls, the millennials, are all about me, but they all have different opinions of what that me is. It's all I'm just gonna do this. Don't touch me until this. I'm only, I'm doing porn just for the for the.
I don't see. You're about to say they do porn just for the money. I disagree. I think they're doing porn for clout. That's the difference. I see. Because everyone's doing porn for the money.
Because they know that they're only going to be in the industry for a year or two.
Max.
I think it's quick money, but it's this perception that everything is all about them.
It's very much
they don't know their bodies.
A narcissistic self-centered perspective.
Kinda. They don't know their bodies, so they don't know what they like, what they don't like, and that's a big problem right there. They're too young, so they get into porn not really knowing anything about sex. Both men and women. But when it comes to women that come in later, or that are still in it as the MILF, they tend to like the sex.
Oh, yeah.
Not the fame.
Well, that's what I'm saying about clout. That's what I'm saying.
So it's like any MILF. Confirm. Any MILF is, we're happy on set. We're low drama. We're all fine on the flirting and the connection because we know experience. We know that you need that chemistry to make the scene real.
Work. To make it look good, too. That's what makes a scene look good.
And the Me Too movement is like totally just kind of just destroyed that.
Yeah, so I agree with what you, like, we actually agree on this. It's like, they come into it, and I noticed the exact same pattern with MILF performers. In particular, so I kind of lump girls in our industry into like a few different categories, right?
Okay.
So I lump them into these categories. I have one category which is kind of what we just talked about, which is the younger diva girl.
Oh yeah,
right?
Come across those.
Because you work with girls as well.
I do.
So you know exactly.
And it's always younger. It's always younger girls.
But there's also then there's the younger diva girls. Then there's this category of like unicorns. Which are
really cool younger girls.
Younger girls,
and I've come across quite a few of those.
Basically, real life nymphomaniacs. They love it. They're in this industry for the right reasons.
Right.
They're fantastic to work with. Everyone loves working with them.
Yeah.
They're brilliant. So that's another category. And unfortunately, it's a small category. So it's not that big. It's not as big as
young ones.
As you would think.
But they are there, yes. And that makes, like my lesbian scenes just fantastic when I get to work
good
with
example. Who would be a good example? Have you worked with Kenna James?
No.
She's a great example of that. She's fantastic.
Alex De La Fleur.
Haven't worked with her.
Is one where she loves it, and she's just this peppy, cute, adorable little thing, and she loves it. I mean, she loves it, and you feel that on set, and
that's it. It's an energy. You feel it, like the vibe is great. Everyone's relaxed, everyone's comfortable. I find it's even easier. It's easier to just have to have conversation and banter. With these kind of girls versus the girls who are kind of like a bit
and you
on their own juice, they're
and you can tell
high on their own supply.
If the girl, because it's all, and I don't know why it always seems to be the girl. The girl will be just on her phone in a corner.
Oh, I can tell you exactly why it's the girl.
I
can tell you. Keep going. I'll tell you exactly why it's the girl's doing that.
Okay, but you can tell it's like those that are standoffish. Now, it's not always that she's a bitch. She could be shy.
There is an element of that.
Because I am going to say that because when I was younger, I was shy.
But these
I
younger
was
girls,
always perceived as a bitch.
I think a lot of what plays into that, we have a young girl who might not necessarily be a bitch, but she's just shy, is that they've been socialized. Like my generation and younger have been socialized on this device.
Yes.
Right? They've been socialized through Facebook and
they're not used
and
to the face-to-face interaction.
They're just less experienced than say someone who's older.
Maybe I've been on set enough, or I know sixth sense will go that route.
Yeah.
I can tell when somene's a bitch, a diva, or just shy.
Oh, and I guarantee you, every male performer can tell as well. We learn this like instantly. We have to deal with it, and we can like I can get to set, and within like a minute, I'm like, this is gonna be a good day, or this is gonna be a work day.
Yeah,
I know immediately.
Yeah, those work days are
they're awful. So I'll continue with my point. So we have the divas, we have the genuine nymphomaniacs who are like the unicorns, right? Then there's two other categories I have.
Okay,
and these apply to like more MILFs typically.
Okay,
so you have women who are basically like you, who are, again, they're basically nymphs. They're genuine. They're in this for the right reason. They love their job. They're fantastic to work with. They tend to be the performers who actually joined the industry in their 30s, but it tends to be through swinging.
Yeah.
They tend to have had an experience in BDSM or swinging, primarily swinging, and they got into the industry in their 30s or late 20s.
And women, okay, you know how men always hit their prime at about 18 to 20, right? Like your sexual prime is really, really young.
Well, I mean, like our sex drive is highest then, but our prime is actually like 33 plus, 33 to 40 is our like actual prime in terms of like as an attractive dude. I'm far more, I'll tell you right now, I'm far more attractive than I was in my
perception.
It's not perception, it's reality. That's absolutely 100% reality.
Cocky.
It's just true.
It's just confident.
It's true. It's absolutely
okay,
true.
Well, fine. Okay. Your sexual
33-year-old Stirling is a hell of a lot more attractive than 18-year-old Stirling. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
And you could take that look 33, 40-year-old Rocco Siffredi, more attractive than 18-year-old Rocco Siffredi.
Hormones. Okay, fine. We're
talking about different things.
Sex
drive, peak
sex
18.
drive. Yeah, okay. Our sex drive is in the late 30s. It is.
Maybe.
Hormone-wise,
I'm not entirely convinced.
But those of us that started in like at the beginning of our prime, late 30s, are getting into porn for, like you said,
you're getting into it for the right reasons.
Yeah, we like sex. You know, it's like with my story, it was like, do you want to join porn? You mean I get more sex?
Yeah, exactly. It's an afterthought. The cash,
money,
the cash, and the fame is well, not fame, but clout. Like it's not
I don't even. I'm not.
But it's an afterthought.
I'm not famous. I don't. I don't.
For Twitter, you're pretty good. You got quite a couple 100,000 followers, do you?
Yeah, a couple hundred.
Doing right.